1 crore people on the brink of starvation. Pakistan's silent story of ruin. A country that once saw itself as the leader of the Islamic world, whose army was considered invincible and whose government was hailed as a symbol of diplomatic shrewdness, today stands at a crossroads where its fields are drying up, its warehouses are empty, and its people are starving. In Pakistan, the sound of hunger is no longer knocking at the door, it has already entered the house. And this isn't a rumor, it's a stark warning issued by global organizations like the World Bank, stating that in the coming times, nearly 10 million Pakistani citizens could face a severe food crisis. This warning is not just a report, it is a chilling forecast of an impending humanitarian disaster, one that could erupt into a social explosion at any moment. Today, we will dive deep into this critical issue. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update on our latest videos. Now, without further delay, let's begin today's discussion. After the Pahalgam terrorist attack, tensions between India and Pakistan have reached their peak. India has not only launched a diplomatic offensive against Pakistan but has also suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, halted visa processes, and sealed the Attari border. In retaliation, Pakistan has closed its airspace to Indian aircraft. But amid these paper-based diplomatic actions, a far more dangerous and deeply humanitarian crisis is unfolding on the ground in Pakistan. The country's economic collapse is no longer just about IMF conditions or budget deficits, it has now become a crisis of hunger and unemployment. This tension is no longer just political, it is a life-or-death struggle tied directly to people's daily survival. The World Bank's latest report on Pakistan paints a grim picture, not just of economic collapse, but of looming social instability. According to the report, nearly 10 million Pakistanis could fall into a state of severe food insecurity this year. Particularly in rural areas, where agriculture forms the backbone of life, crops like rice and maize are on the verge of devastation due to the ongoing climate crisis. Droughts, floods, and untimely rains have already broken the spirit of farmers. Now, with seed prices soaring and irrigation becoming uncertain, agricultural output is continuously declining. As a result, the rural economy is collapsing, and people who once considered themselves self-sufficient may soon be seen lining up for food at relief camps. And that's not all. Pakistan's worsening economic situation is further aggravating these conditions. The World Bank has slashed Pakistan's projected economic growth rate down to just 2.7%. For a country whose population grows by nearly 2% every year, this is a stark warning. It directly implies that the economy is becoming increasingly incapable of meeting even the basic needs of its people. What's even more alarming is that the Shehbaz Sharif government is failing to meet its budget deficit targets, and the debt-to-GDP ratio is expected to rise even further. This will severely impact the confidence of international investors, putting even greater pressure on Pakistan's already fragile currency. According to the report, it's not just hunger that's rising in Pakistan, poverty is surging at an alarming rate too. The World Bank estimates that nearly 1.9 million more people will slip below the poverty line this year alone. That means thousands of people, every single day, will be forced into a life where even 2 meals a day become a distant dream. The unemployment rate is rising, and the most concerning figure is that Pakistan's employment-to-population ratio stands at just 49.7%. In simple terms, half the population is not working, and those who are employed earn so little that they can't lift themselves out of poverty. This situation is not only creating a massive individual crisis but is also pushing the nation toward collective social instability. The worst impact of this crisis is falling upon women and the youth. Pakistan has one of the lowest female labor force participation rates in the world. The situation for the youth is equally dire, They either can't find jobs or can't find employment that matches their skills. This reality doesn't just breed social imbalance, it fuels extremism and crime as well. A society suffering from hunger doesn't create revolutions, it breeds chaos. And today, that chaos is beginning to be felt in every street and alley of Pakistan. School dropout rates are rising, mental health problems are escalating, and people are being forced to migrate, whether to foreign lands or hidden lives in urban slums. The report also highlights that Pakistan's current policies are worsening the crisis instead of solving it. Agriculture, construction, and low-value services, which form the backbone of the poor, are experiencing negative growth. When these sectors decline, the income of the poor shrinks even further and their purchasing power evaporates. Moreover, real wage growth has remained stagnant for several years now. Inflation continues to rise, but incomes have stayed the same. As a result, the poor are becoming even poorer, and the middle class is gradually sliding into lower economic strata. In such a scenario, if the government merely increases taxes or continues to survive on international loans, it will be akin to pouring gasoline on an already raging fire rather than extinguishing it. The most shocking revelation in the World Bank's report is that despite all these issues, there is almost no open discussion about them in Pakistan. Whether in parliament or the media, hunger, unemployment, female labor participation, declining wages, these critical issues are either suppressed or completely ignored. It paints the picture of a society that refuses to acknowledge its own downfall. And this denial has now become the biggest threat to the nation. Because if a society is unwilling to even recognize its real illness, how can it ever hope for a cure? If this denial continues, Pakistan's crisis will no longer be just economic, it will turn into a full-blown crisis of existence. Now, with relations with India deteriorating further after incidents like the Pahalgam attack and political tensions reaching new heights, Pakistan's access to external support is also drying up. The IMF is providing aid only under extremely harsh conditions. China has significantly slowed its investments, and the United States has distanced itself. In such a scenario, Pakistan can no longer depend on anyone else, it can only save itself. But the critical question remains, are Pakistan's government and society ready to face this reality? Are they willing to change their priorities? Will they finally value bread over bombs? These questions may seem straightforward, but their answers are deeply complex and tied directly to political will and the willingness to embrace real change. The future could be even more terrifying. If the climate crisis deepens, food production continues to fall, and no reforms are made in economic policies, then in the coming years, Pakistan won't just be drowning in debt, it could spiral into a full-fledged humanitarian catastrophe. And the greatest danger lies in the fact that when people are starving, they stop believing in policies, they turn toward extremism. Whether that extremism is political or religious, it thrives on despair. An unstable nation is not just a threat to itself, it becomes a threat to the entire region. From its borders can leak hatred, weapons, and displacement, putting the peace of the entire subcontinent at risk. Today, as the world discusses the economic future of the global South, Pakistan stands as a stark warning that if hunger, unemployment, and inequality are ignored, then no amount of economic reform or investment will matter. Pakistan must now rethink its priorities, not bombs, but bread. The focus must shift from military budgets to agriculture and employment. And most importantly, it must acknowledge that its biggest war is no longer at the border, it's being fought in its villages, fields, and kitchens. This is a fire that, if not extinguished now, has the potential to burn down the entire nation.
Taught you something new. Do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestion. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.